This is an Affymetrix Gene Chip Scanner 3000 teardown. This is a machine that's used for DNA sequencing. This is the low voltage power supply. It's a switch mode power supply. Down here's the power input, IEC. Then moving to the left, this item down the bottom here is the solid state laser power supply. That's made by the US company called Coherent. This black blob here houses the solid state laser with a big heat sink here. This is just a plastic shroud over the laser module, and from memory it's a approximately 100 milliwatt laser. And over here is a filter wheel with different coloured filters, and that's driven by a stepper motor that you can see down here. And there's another stepper motor here connected to the optics. Here is a Affymetrix photomultiplier for detecting the fluorescence from the sample. It's a close-up of the Affymetrix PMT detector. That's a close-up of the filter wheel. Now turning the unit around, you can see the other side, which has quite a lot of electronics on the left. So on the left here there's a single board computer, and then a whole lot of daughter boards doing different things. So this daughter board here appears to be connected to the photomultiplier on the other side, and then there's a board up the top here which is connected to a scanning motor for the optics. Then there's another daughter board here which appears to be connected to the optical scanning system up here. So this is to scan the gene chip, and there's a stepper motor here, and then there's some sort of other electromechanical system up here to move the sample in front of the optical detector. So this side has quite a lot of electronics, quite a lot of boards plugged into that single board computer. And now I'll try and take it all apart so that I can see more of that single board computer. Looks like a keyboard style connector here, and then at the back of the unit there's an RJ45 style Ethernet connector, which I've partly removed there, just unplugged it, and a lot of cooling fans on the rear of the unit. I'll just turn it around to show you the rear of the unit. So the cooling fans have these quite interesting filter units over them, and they're just held on by Velcro. So this unit looks quite recent, and it's come from perhaps Queensland Brain Institute in Queensland, Australia. So the top panel can be removed, and then you can see the density of some of the electronics and the optical side. This is another view of the optical side with the photomultiplier and the laser again. So here I've removed the cover from the laser unit. That's the black plastic cover. Now the main laser unit is in this heat sinked package here. So there's a couple of fans to keep that heat sinked package cool. And if we move to the bottom, you can see that there's one mirror that redirects the laser beam from the laser, and then another mirror here, and perhaps some sort of collimating arrangement, and then another mirror here, and then an optical port here. Then could be a shutter type arrangement that's just shown here with a motor on the top. So this is made by the American company called Coherent, and it's a Coherent Compass 215M-10, made in Germany. So it's an American company, but this particular unit is made in Germany. This is the sensor board for the photomultiplier, and you can see that it's made by Affymetrix. This is the top of the power supply, and you can see there that there's nice labels to show the different voltages coming out of the power supply. My experience, that's not so common. This is part of the optical scanner assembly, and you can see there's this optical scanning component driven by this specialized motor here that moves this scanning assembly left and right on the gene sensor chip. You can see some minor corrosion there, and also minor corrosion there. This is the driver board for the optical scanning assembly, and you can see there a prominent chip LM388 6TF, and some other chips, and a lot of pots on the front, variable resistors on the front here for adjustments. Looks like the computer interface here, this DB connector, then this Molex for the power, and then these other connectors here that are probably the output to the motor assembly over here. Now see if I can zoom in with that motor assembly. Cambridge technology, made in the USA, model 6880 by 572. So I guess that's to do with the scanning capabilities of that particular electro-optical scanner. This is a top view, and you can see there that the machine's split into the two sides. The power supply on the top left there, which is really the back left. Then there was a whole lot of cosmetic panels around it, and the cosmetic panel for the front is still attached, but obviously I've removed everything else. Removed the left panel, removed the right panel. The panels behind the cosmetic panels are large aluminium sheets to protect the laser from dust, optics from dust, and also the user from perhaps reflected laser light. Okay, so here I've removed the daughter board that interfaced to the photomultiplier. Underneath it there's another Affymetrix board, also called a PDP board. Maybe that means something about daughter board, I don't know. This is the single board computer removed from the Affymetrix. This is the single board computer removed from the Affymetrix DNA chip scanner, and on this side we've got the RAM, must be the CPU under here. These all look like IDE interfaces, power connector, and some other connectors down here, the bootstrap disk on chip device here. So that now provides access to this area here, and this board is labelled the Affymetrix interconnect board. So you can see that there's a lot of connectors on there, mostly quite old school, IDE, PS2 style keyboard connector here, and all sorts of interesting connectors, configuration switches, and I'll try and take that out next. This is just held in with Phillips head screws, machine screws.